What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hey, Greg.
How are you?
I'm well.
We have no time for
We
Shut
don't.
up.
Get in
Over
there.
there, the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
Go Islanders.
Go Islanders, indeed. Over there, the pure one, Tim Gettys.
That's the most. And happy birthday, Nick.
You motherfucker!
Yeah.
It's your birthday?
Tim, let me hear you one more time.
Don't try to
Sound like
distract the point.
Really?
Let me hear you.
Talking in. I'm still talking. I'm talking to you. I'm so happy it's your birthday.
Is it your day of birth?
Is he a year
It's my
younger?
birthday, yes.
You son of a
birthdays work, right?
gun.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
I
I
can't
did not
believe
get you
it.
anything.
No, you're.
You got me you.
This, of course, is
I did.
world-renowned
The gift of you.
voice actor Troy Baker. He's here. Thank you so much for coming to visit us.
Oh, of course. We have applause here.
You did Colin and Greg live this morning. You hung in there. You answered the questions over on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, and now you're here for the Game Over Greggy Show. But you have a plane to catch.
I do have a plane to catch.
We're running you on borrowed time.
On borrowed time.
So
I don't
here-
know who we borrowed it from.
Jesus,
Jesus.
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature, and
Yeah,
Jesus,
she
and
has
Virgin
time.
America.
Jesus ain't got no time for that.
Yeah.
Oprah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, you can get it all for the cheap on Friday on Bandcamp, on Vimeo, kindoffunny.com, and of course, patreon.com/kindoffunny. If you don't want to give us any money or you can't, we totally understand. All we ask is that you watch our videos over on youtube.com/kindoffunny each and every day. The next week, topic by topic, day by day, till the entire show posts for free as an MP3 and a video.
That was good.
Now we can
that
have
was
some
pretty
fun.
good.
Now we get to the discussion. Well, people first off have been saying my intros are too long lately. They like your Kind of Funny Games cast. You're just like, whatever. I'm Tim. Do this. I'm hosting now, and I can say what I want. Hey, man.
What up, dude?
Hey, man.
Troy Baker.
Dude, I thank you. Hello.
Hi.
That was that was with an acknowledgement, a greeting, and a segue.
Yeah.
I just have to give a wonderful shout out to my dear friend Colin for making a fantastic old fashioned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic
I
old
appreciate
fashioned.
You learned it from the best. If you want to know how to make an old fashioned, go
Yeah.
to youtube.com/kindoffunny and check out Follow the Leader.
I'm putting in the time code for Kevin.
Bam.
Yep, we have a how-to video of how to make it from Eric Castro himself.
I thought you were like being very professional, like taking notes.
I am.
Like you're the secretary.
I am.
For
I wear many
you're
hats.
Taking minutes.
I wear many hats here.
But you're literally taking minutes.
Right.
Like minutes is not just like the term that people use.
Oh, I literally need
You're
to. I
literally
look
like
over there. I
3
got the
minutes,
time code. I
52
jot it
seconds.
down. Then the little things pop up. Everybody's excited. Troy.
Yes.
Random topics of discussion on the Game
Okay.
Over Greggy Show. You guests go first. What did you bring to the table today?
Besides my old fashioned, I literally brought my album,
Oh yes.
so that's good because I'm shamelessly plunking myself.
Nah, it's no me.
What's the album called?
Sitting in the fire. So we can talk about this real quick. So there's a really interesting moment in my life where it prompted my best friend Travis Willingham to kind of call me out and have like a good come to Jesus talk.
Did he throw balls at your balls like he did to me?
He did not. That he reserved that for you, so you were very special in that.
Thanks, Travis.
But he sat me down and he said, "Listen, man, there's a fire. You know, because we all have circumstances and problems in our life and everything, and he equated that to a fire that burns in your life. And he was like, there's a fire that's burning right now, and if you will just sit in it as opposed to running away from it, it will make you stronger." And
Mother
so that
of Dragons.
Mother of Dragons.
Yeah.
You got to walk out naked from that thing, and then everyone's
We've all
like,
been
"Oh,
there.
you gonna get naked?" You said, "I'm not gonna get naked anymore. I'm already on this show."
Wait,
Yeah.
I was told
Good.
there was going to be nudity on the show.
But not from
That is why I showed
So I
up.
was
you-
hoping
that
for
was why
some
you watched
Troy
the show.
Baker
Hold on.
Yeah, that's
nudity.
why I watched this show.
So she said,
Oh,
he's
He's taking it all off for you.
Look at that little wiener.
Me without a dollar. So anyway, yeah, we this and part of the fire was making this fucking thing because it took us forever. But growing up, and Nick, how old are you?
I'm 35 today.
35 today. So you kind of came in on the tail end of I'm like the oldest person at this table.
How old are you?
38.
Oh, fuck you.
I'll be 39 this year.
God
You
damn
look
it.
younger than Tim, though. Are you using your eye cream?
I am.
Good.
How old are you?
25.
Oh, fuck off. You're drinking Coke. You can barely drink that. So keep the alcohol away from the young ones. So like growing up, man, I had like 33s and 78s and you know, not really 8-track was not really my thing. But it was albums, it was cassettes, and then these CDs came along, and then that kind of put us where we are now. But there's this spirit that records were made in that has kind of been lost, because now you've got great music that's out there, but it's a collection of tracks as opposed to like. We were talking about this earlier with like the Beatles. There was a concept record, like Sgt. Pepper's was a concept record, and there were movements that it went through, and it's one of the reasons why I love games so much, is because with the same thing with an album, there was this interactivity that happened, because you couldn't just put on, like now we can literally listen to an inexhaustible supply of music.
Right. Yeah.
You know, through Pandora, every once in a while go, hey, are you still listening? Because we have to pay for these songs. Or Spotify goes, we're not going to pay anybody ever, so you can listen to whatever you want. But
No,
there,
Taylor Swift has something to say about it. I'll tell you that right
You
now.
know, yeah,
She's
right?
fighting the good fight. The good fight. She's shaking it
Shout
up.
out to
But you look
T-Swift.
at that, you know, she was like 3 million plays or whatever, and she got 32 cents or something ridiculous. I know, it was crazy.
Chump change compared to what you're getting paid.
Oh my god, I'm mildly broke. But what's crazy about it is, like, you know, with the record, you had like 22 minutes that you were going to listen to this thing, and then you had to, because you get that because that needle would pass over to the other side. You have to flip it over, and there was a whole new record waiting for you.
Yeah.
I remember I didn't listen to the second half of Joshua Tree for like years because I just loved everything that was on Side A, which was like all the poppy hits and everything. And it was kind of the spirit that we did this record in, to where like the first half of it is it's rock, it's in, you know, it's kind of upbeat. There's some kind of dancey stuff even on there, and then you flip it over to the second side, and it's this totally different experience. But we, I'm stupid, and I learned a lot of ways to not make a record.
No, okay.
It's like Edison, you know, tried 2,000 times to create the light bulb, and someone says, how do you feel about failing 2,000 times to make a light bulb? Because I didn't. I just found 2,000 ways to not make a light bulb. You know, everyone was a success. And it's the same thing, but a lot of the albums that really influenced me were not done in a traditional studio sense. They were done, like OK Computer was done in Jane Seymour's Castle. There was a Bruce Springsteen record where he did, it's called the Pete Seeger Sessions, and he did it at this cabin in the woods. It was just amazing. I think he did it upstate New York. And that's when I decided I wanted to do something like I want to do my album in a cabin. And so we found this house up in Big Bear, California, and we dragged about $500,000 worth of gear, most of it rented, of course.
Yeah, naturally.
That we did not own. And we went down to our very last mic cable and spent 5 days tracking this record and spent a lot of time mixing it and working on it and finishing it up. And it's finally out. So yeah, I'm super proud of that.
Where can people get it?
You can get it. Well, I think we're gonna give away one here, right?
Sure.
Yeah. How do we do that?
People in the comments will randomly pick somebody from the comments of the
Yeah.
YouTube video.
So it's random. It's not. Don't try to do anything like
on the breakout on the Monday episode.
Yeah,
not the full episode.
I sacrificed chicken to get this record.
Don't do that. That's bad.
chicken
Don't do that.
We didn't do
That will actually not get you the record.
Yeah.
that will
ban
actually
you probably,
that'll actually get you arrested. I think.
Yeah.
if
Oh
you-
yeah. Animal cruelty. Nobody wants that.
But if your law firm is run by Al Pacino, then
Then you're set.
Then you're set.
Yeah.
Nobody get the reference.
No.
Devil's Advocate.
Oh.
Really?
I remember
yeah.
Devil's
Come on.
Advocate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't remember what.
The first one that he has is it's a close and shut. What is he? Open and shut case of animal cruelty. He's got the worst accent in that entire.
Oh,
movie,
I
by
thought
the
you were
way.
doing Al Pacino for a second. I was like,
Ethan
that's
Hawke.
the
No.
worst Al Pacino
No.
ever.
She is my wife. This is our home, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. So apparently, I have to talk like this. It's terrible. Just and son. Oh yeah, you must from my lawn. I mean, it's like Al Pacino is just like turning it all the way up to 11, and then
Look, but don't touch. She's a redhead. She's really hot. I want you to have sex with her on my desk.
it's like the creepiest, weirdest
good
movie. And then
movie.
Charlize
movie.
Theron goes, "I love you," and then kills herself. I could like do this
That
movie in
was a weird
60
movie.
seconds.
That was a weird movie.
That's
very
a
weird.
Really weird movie. Yeah.
But his sister or the chick, what was that? What else was she in? The
curly
redhead.
haired redhead. I know who you're talking about.
Was she in Starship Troopers? She was in Starship Troopers, wasn't she?
Let me look that up.
If
Thank
only
you.
there was a device that existed.
Got
in
all the
world.
information
That'd be
immediately
so
for us.
Let me ask you.
What's it good? Colin bringing it back to center.
I want to ask you about you know we only have you for a very limited amount of time, and I'm like I'm the only other musician at this table, so I have to ask you a simple two questions.
Please.
Did you what did you obviously you're a vocalist and you play guitar? Did you do any other instruments on the record? And did you guys play live or did you do track by track and mix it that way?
Most of the stuff, like all the rhythm sections, were done live. Every song was done with bass, drums, and guitar being done at the same time. Sometimes bass, drums, guitar, and keys. There's like two instrumentals, and we did overdubs, of course. Like there'd be another second guitar part or whatever. James Bowen plays guitars on everything. He played piano on Afterglow, and our drummer CJ Martin played the organ on Will the Circle Be Unbroken. I played keys on, besides like a couple of, I did stuff on like My Religion. I did stuff on a couple of different things. I did like, extra key work or whatever. But there's two instrumentals that we have that are really, really cool, that were completely spontaneous. They were completely improv at the cabin while we were recording. And one, I was trying to find a specific sound, and if you've ever dealt with software stuff, you know, you can literally go through just a cornucopia of sounds. It's like, you know, you're just going through a library of sounds. And we hit this one by Sonic Couture, and it's an acoustic EBO. And you hit it, and you have like a oscillating wheel. And so when you went up, it made this really cool, like it pitched it up to the next harmonic. And it's a song called, I have to think about it, Intermission, sorry. We could just call it the jams, but it's Intermission, and I was sitting here playing with it, and I was just going doo doo, and the guys were hearing me through the headphones, and they just started playing. And so I looked at Rob. I'm in the control room, which looked a lot like this, with just gear everywhere. I was like, holy shit, dude, roll tape. And so we started rolling, and Johnny, our producer, who had this amazing couch, and there's a picture I think I put up on Twitter or whatever, of him just sitting there on this, laid out on this couch, and that's just where his producer's couch. He just sat there and just like, he's like, guys, here we go. And we just played it live. No click or anything else. And I had a mic, and I was like calling out changes, as like, go back to this part, you know. It was just a really cool organic thing, and there's two of those. There's Intermission, and there's a song called Window to the Abbey that was a complete jam that we did, wrote up there. So yeah, I did play some stuff, but I mean, I have like amazing musicians, and there's times when you just got to get out of the way and let those guys do what they do so well. We actually played for the first time together since we did the album, which was May of 2000. God, it was right when we did the Podcast 300 thing.
Oh wow, really? So that'd be 2 years
Beyond
ago?
300. Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. May of 2012. Yeah. So the first time we actually sat down and played these songs was this Sunday, and this past Sunday. And it was like we've been playing these songs for years. Just awesome. They're so good. We just dropped in and played. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing like those. I don't think people, you know, there's a lot of music fans out there. Obviously, everyone, you know, really enjoys listening to music. But I really do feel, and I can sympathize with you in the sense that I don't feel like a lot of people that don't play instruments understand how really fucking hard it is to make a record. And
oh my god,
and like to play and stuff like that. Like I don't have the experience to put out something that we you know put out on stores where. But when I was a band in college, we did record a 6. We bought an M box, so we used all of our money to buy.
Hell yeah, dude! I have one. Every generation.
And we spent all of our money on all the software, and we wanted to record a 6-track demo. And we ended up doing that. But I remember I played drums, and I remember we wanted to do everything on individual tracks so we can really tweak it and master it properly.
Sure.
And I remember being so fucking annoyed because I could not play. Like I couldn't play without everyone around me. I'm like, I can't do this. Like you have your headphones on, you have the click and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can't do it. And we ended up throwing in the towel on most of the songs and just playing it live. And we lost the ability to master it, so we lost some of the fidelity in the sound. But like, it was more natural to play it like that. So I was just curious if you. That's why I wanted to ask is if you played it. Well, we obviously put the vocals on after, but I needed to play with especially the bass.
There is a lot of energy that's lost when you go track by track, and some people are good. I mean, like the Eagles were all studio musicians, and that's how they met. They came together, and they're all just like fantastic players. And so, like Wayne Miller, who's our bass player and music director, I mean, that guy is on tour with Christina Perri right now, and I mean, they're all just like those. This is what they do, 9 to 5. That's their gig, is being studio musicians. But it's really interesting. Like I'm the same way. It's like, okay, you're gonna play to a click. I'm like, oh no. I need these guys back here. And because there's like we played last night, and there's just there's a certain, and this is not for everybody, and I don't want to sound too pretentious, but like that's, if we don't make music because of the way that we feel, I'm not knocking like math rock and stuff like that, to where it's like, watch me write this song in 12/8 time. But there's just, to me, the impetus has always been like how I'm feeling. And there's sometimes when the song is going to be slower. Sometimes it's going to be faster. Sometimes it's going to be more angry. So I don't know. But I again, you're right. It's incredibly hard to make this. And I'm honored every time. Like I check every day. I'm like, holy shit, I sold another one. I'm just so surprised that people are digging it. And to find out which songs actually like resonated with people too. So it's been fun.
I know musicians always get frustrated about this particular question, but and game designers do too. But you just put this record out, now you're doing some shows and kind of promoting or whatever. Mm-hmm. Is this it? And you said this was a concept album, which a lot of bands don't do anymore. I mean, Dredge does it, and a few other guys do concept albums, but most people don't do that anymore. That's lost along with vinyl, I think. But do you want to do another record, or is it something that in the next couple of years, next few years?
I want to do 10. Now it's, I mean, there's this whole side of me that's kind of laid dormant, just out of necessity. I've been fortunate enough to work, and stay very, very busy.
You're in a lot of games.
I'm in a few. I'm actually in less, I think, this year than I've been in past.
Yeah, because you were in everything last year.
and everything got
You're
delayed.
just in Batman, Uncharted, Metal Gear, like these
That's it.
small
Just
little
like
indie games.
just a few. But I've been very fortunate that whatever it is about me has been like perfect for where the industry is at right now, and there's been opportunities that have been afforded to me, and those opportunities afforded this opportunity. So I'm pleased as punch to do that. But yeah, now I'm like, I want to go to New York and just like get a loft in New York for like 3 weeks and just see what happens.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Because I invariably, like, the cabin took it was an influence on the way that we wrote, and we were on like 4 acres or something, so there's nobody around us, which we needed specifically because we're gonna be like cranking at 3 o'clock in the morning. What are people going? Shut up. So we intentionally found a spot that just there was nothing but woods around it, so people would like just go, are you guys gonna cut guitars? Cool, I'm just gonna grab a beer and go out, and there's this chair that we have a picture of that's just out in the middle of the woods, because people would just take a chair and just sit out there and just be in nature. And it was in May, it was beautiful, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. So I would love to see what would happen when you have, like, Richard Ashcroft did an album, his first solo album since he left the Verve. This is many years ago, called Alone with Myself. And there's a song that he has about New York. And I remember walking around Gramercy Park, and because you can't go in unless you're like a resident or whatever, but you can walk around it. And that whole like part of New York is really cool. But I remember walking around listening to Ashcroft with that. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm in your head when you were writing this song about New York, because it just has this energy. I love New York.
With the concept album, like, do you come up with the concept first and then kind of fit all the pieces into that vision? Because like with other albums, it's just kind of like, let's just make a bunch of songs and put them together.
Sure. A lot of this has been cathartic for me, because there's some of these songs have sat gestating for like 10 years, and others became something new. The way that we worked is this was a cool process too. Again, Brian Foster, who's like my little brother, introduced me to this guy, Johnny Watt, who became the producer for this. And I was like, yeah, we should work together. I was like, dude, I've got these songs. They're ready to go.
Is his name Johnny what?
Johnny Watt. W-H-A-T.
Johnny what?
Johnny What?
That is a dope ass name.
Dude, he's about to explode too.
That's a rad
Not
name.
because of me, but because of a lot of he's worked with Fitz and the Tantrums. He's working with some new artists that are coming up, and he's
You heard him here first, Johnny
he's
What?
legit.
Johnny
He's
what?
legit. But he's kind of like a song whisperer. The way that he works is he goes, I was like, dude, so the drums are doing this, the guitars are doing this, there's some horns and some strings. He's like, cool, I just need to hear the song, man. and he said, I want an acoustic, I want a vocal. You're going to come over to my apartment, and we're going to just lay it down, and I'll call you in 2 weeks, and I'll tell you what I come up with. And the reason why is he said, there's a place that these songs are wanting to go to. You can't take them there. Mm-hmm. And so I just need to hear what the song is saying to me. And sure enough, like I remember Far Away especially was like, what the fuck, dude? It was so crazy. It was such a departure, because here's an acoustic, and I'm trying to like play all the parts that I hear with this one instrument. And 2 weeks later, I get this version back. I'm like, what is this? And it was the, early embryonic phase of what the song would become. And things invariably take on a new, as hands touch them, they change, they grow, and they evolve. And so it went from an acoustic and a vocal to Johnny's sketches to pre-production with the band, and then actually recording them, and then the mixing takes on. So it's like this like multi-faceted process of how to do this. But so a lot of these have been like, I've got to get these songs out, because they never were released. And I feel that these are really good songs. And Leonard Cohen is I'm a huge fan of his, and he told a friend of mine that Foster, once again, he's getting a lot of plugs on this fucking
Everybody
podcast.
loves Brian
Jesus.
Foster.
Brian Wayne Foster, Brian W. Foster. I can't
On
remember his Twitter.
I'm
Yeah.
on it. Don't worry. You keep telling your story.
I'll give him a good plug. Amazing writer, amazing musician, and a good human. But Leonard Cohen told him, he said, always write down whatever idea, song, poem, story that you have.
Oh, I got lists of ideas.
Yeah, Tim's
That's
a
all I
list maker.
do.
He's definitely a list
Here's
maker.
what's cool though is he goes, your current self may not understand it, but your future self may be able to reveal
That's so
that.
true. There's things I write down, and then years later I'll look back at my notes. I'm like, Oh, man.
Wow,
And then it
that's
turns
what
into
I'm
something.
Time travel.
We are talking about Brian W. Foster.
Brian W. Foster.
Brian W. Foster. Troy, I want to get you on at least 2 topics. So I want to close out
Please.
this with a question for
Yes.
you. I've been lucky enough to roll around this great world with you, and I've seen you play, and we've done panels at MomoCon where you did a set, and I've seen you play songs. I have a question that I am not prepared for. We have not talked about it before,
Done.
so I don't know how you want to answer it.
Okay.
Give me as much as you can if you want to. Last night,
Yeah.
you played The Circle Will Be Unbroken.
Yeah.
And you stopped in the middle of it. You got
Dude,
choked up.
I got
What the hell happened?
I didn't want to like turn into Sean Penn and like all of a sudden make this political stance or social stance on the stage, but and there was, I don't even remember what I said, but there was also this diatribe earlier where it was after Like a Stone, where I was talking about how songs are like lovers. Now we can get so familiar with them, and that there's a comfortability that comes in that. If anybody's ever been in a relationship or a relationship that's lasted longer than more than one night, where this person that was like, oh, she's so mysterious and she's so, or he's so sexy to me and everything, and then you realize that they're taking a shit in the next room and they're like, oh, they're not as cool as that.
Yeah.
But there's also there's a
Everybody
beauty in that to where you're like, oh, I get to be the person that gets to walk into the bathroom after they just like drop some major heat. That's like, there's a coolness to that,
major
but then that's the way that songs become, and then one weird thing, like there's a Thursday night when they're wearing that one little thing and you're like, holy shit, I forgot that that's what the person looked like. So it was, I don't know if it was the room or what it was, but there was like a really emotional vibe. But I hit circle and I got to the verse where it says there are loved ones whose dear forms you often miss, and it says now their circle has been broken, will it be complete one day? And I don't know where it came from, but Paris has always been a very it sounds so stupid, but it's been a very integral part to who I am as a person, because when I was 12 years old, I went to Paris for the first time, and we were on a schedule. We had to be here at 10:15, here at 11:45. We're going to the Louvre and everything. And me being, a 13-year-old kid, I was like, I want to stop off in some cheesy souvenir store that's, in the 6th district and arrondissement. And it put us like 15 minutes late to be at Notre Dame. And we finally get to Notre Dame. And everyone's pissed at me. They're like, oh, God. And we get there, and there's always a crowd. But there was a static crowd, and it was in this perfect half moon shape, opposite of the cathedral doors. And we knew something was wrong, and this ambulance pulled up, and literally 15 minutes before, a guy had jumped from between the two spires, and I found out years later killed a girl on his way down.
Holy crap.
And so I'm standing there at 13 years old, and I'm watching them as they sweep this guy into a bag and hose down the spot where he was. And the summation of this guy's whatever sadness and his life ended was this faint crimson stain on these old cobblestones. And the ambulance leaves, and they finally let the crowd circulate, and within 60 seconds there's an entirely new group of people that are completely unaware of what just happened. And I just broke down. I just lost it. And it was the cycle of life. It was the futility of suicide. It was, what really matters in your world, and all these things. And my sister, who's 2.5 years older than me and just amazing, says, as the doors open, you see that they were doing a christening inside of a baby. And she goes, how interesting that outside one life was ending and inside one life was beginning. And I just like, so, and there's a picture of me that my parents have of me just like, just standing off to the side and just crying and weeping. So Paris has always been near and dear to me, and it's one of the few towns outside of the town that I live in that I can navigate myself way around. I'm like, oh, there's a great patisserie over here, and there's not just landmarks, but like this little store, this little shop is right here, and you turn down the street, and I love Parisians. I know I'm probably against the grain, but they're some of the most hospitable people. They just don't put up with bullshit, and that's why Americans hate them, because we're so full of it.
We are.
But this last week,
Stop it. This is why the party will never win the election.
This is what the party won the election.
This last week, Paris has fallen on dark days, and it saddens me how people call upon an ideology and a religion to somehow frame their horrific selfish acts and somehow justify that. And I don't always agree with what that the magazine Charlie Hebdo does. I think a lot of it's incredibly offensive, horribly offensive. But you know what? That's on me to get offended by. I don't have to be offended by that. You can say whatever you want about God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want. It's on me to go, you know what? That pisses me off. And you know what? Those things have been around a hell of a lot longer than me, and they're going to be just fine. For like it or not, they're going to be around. And they're going to withstand any slings and arrows that somebody fires at them. So it's a fucking magazine. Who cares? But the fact that these three people took it upon themselves to end the lives of innocent people and was horrific, and to walk through this beautiful city with reckless abandon and just completely disrupt lives, it broke me. And there was this sadness that comes along with that, but there was also just this overwhelming beauty of seeing a city, and we don't have this here in the States, where you see this city that goes, you know what? We've been around the block a few times. And we've seen famine, we've seen war, we've seen pestilence, we've seen tyranny, we've seen invasion. We're going to be okay. And just to see a city and a world unite around one cause, which was, fuck you. We're Paris. And we'll rise above this. And not only that, but for people to stand up and say, freedom of speech. And we're not going to be ruled by some tyrannical oppression because you have different beliefs than we do and you got your feelings hurt. Get fucked, dude. I don't care. And I'm sorry. And the other thing that pisses me off is that this automatically goes to people of the Islamic faith, which is bullshit as well, because they're some of the most tolerant, patient, loving, gracious people. Honestly, if Christians could take more pages from the Islamic book, the world would be a better place, because I think a lot of times Christians are the ones that are way more bullheaded than any Muslim is. And then there's this small sect of fuckheads that decide to fuck it up for everybody.
It's always the fuckheads.
Yeah. And it pisses me off. And those people in no way represent any faith at all. No faith at all. Because I believe that if you actually do believe in a higher power or greater power or whatever, that should be urging you to do good and not fucking take up an automatic weapon and kill people. So that's what broke me last night, and I just thought about it. I was like, will their circle be unbroken? Will it be complete one day? And it was just like, I don't know, man. It just hit me like a wave. So that's my little diatribe on religious persecution and freedom of speech.
All right,
and
so buy my album, Sitting in the Fire.
So buy my album, and so yeah, it was a good night. Always end with a fart sound.
So
Yeah.
comment, tell us your favorite Troy Baker role. We'll pick one at random to win this. We'll autograph. We'll get a pen eventually, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
And of course, buy it on iTunes. You can go buy it right now. Google Play.
Yeah, you can buy it on iTunes. TroyBaker.net is actually where you can get these. These are actually limited edition. We only did one printing. We're not going to do another one. If we do another one, it'll be completely different. So TroyBaker.net, you can click on the store and buy it there. You can go to CD Baby and get it there. Or you're some lucky person's going to get it here.
Okay.
I love you guys, man.
We love you.
Love
Thank you
you.
so much for
Thank you so
coming.
much,
Coming,
man.
Troy
This is
Baker.
cool.
I'm a big fan of these soft cases too. Classy.
Yeah, dude.
Looks really nice.
It's all recycled wood, and it's got artwork. It's got liner notes and credits and everything. Is a full fold-out poster of this lovely chair picture with all the lyrics. And
That's
everything
awesome.
on it.
I'm big into CD collecting, so this
Dig
warms
it.
my heart.
Dig it.